Okay, so good morning, everybody. Big warm welcome to all of you. I had a very big treat back at the end of July when I went down to Somerset and stayed a couple of nights to do a couple of events down with Kettlewell. And it was absolutely brilliant. I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed it, I think, because I love colour. I think colour is incredibly essential in our lives. And it was a particular pleasure to visit the setup that Kettlewell has down in Chardin, Somerset, and particularly to visit their colour studio. It was like walking into a sweet shop as a child, really was. Just such a vibrant space, beautiful setting, and the perfect place really to go if you're a little bit lost about colour direction, or you want to get some inspiration, or you want to buy some lovely clothes. I ended up buying, well, a couple of things, one of which I've got on, which is this lovely bright blue jacket, which I've worn a lot since I bought it in July. And I also nabbed one of these wonderful pink with a purple, little purple stripe around the edge, very soft and beautiful scarf, which again, I've really worn a lot. So great thing for me to do, great place to visit. Saw and met some wonderful people, two of whom I want to introduce to you now, in fact. So one is the person who is in fact in charge of the colour studio. She's the manager, who is Sancha. And today we've got Sancha on this call with Jane, who's a stylist and colour analyst. So she's the person that will help you to really get to grips with what colour season palette you have, and also how to make the absolute best of the way that you look and the colouring and so on and so forth. So we've got two experts on the call with us to think about lots and lots of different aspects of colour, which we at Look Fabulous Forever also think is incredibly important. So I'm just going to start with a simple question, which is, why did Kettlewell decide, because you're largely an online brand like we are, to open a facility, a physical space, which is the colour studio? Why did you decide to do that?
Well, I know that you've known Melissa for many years, and I've worked for Kettlewell for many years, and it was always a dream of Melissa's to have what she would refer to as a colour emporium. Everything just fell into place, really, because we have over 300 colours and across many different styles. The location being next to the warehouse was key, because we have to be able to access it all for everyone. So yeah, it fell into place. And then, of course, introducing our own Kettlewell colour analysis system to go alongside the clothing range just made it something that we just felt that had to be done.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? The sort of bricks and mortar side of retail, if you like, when you haven't really been into that. We dabbled with that briefly before lockdown. Lockdown forced us to close. And it was lovely meeting our customers. It was lovely offering them makeovers and so on and so forth. But it's quite a challenging environment to be successful. And we were in a shopping centre. You've got your own premises, basically. So you've already got those premises, and what you've done is just to use part of them and open up this beautiful space, which I have to say is stunning as you walk in. Let's come on to the kind of thing that you can help people with, because anyone watching this who is interested in visiting Chard in Somerset, maybe you're on the way somewhere else, or you actually have a specific purpose for going there, I would absolutely thoroughly recommend it. And I think you might be interested to know what kind of services you can expect to get when you get there. So I don't know whether Jane wants to tell us about that, because you are definitely involved in that side of it.
Absolutely. Well, Sancha organises all the events and bookings, which we'll come on to. But certainly the two main things you can book in for are a colour analysis or a shopping session with us, and it's a sort of one-on-one or two-on-one with the shopping, and obviously the colour is one-to-one, and it's a way to really spend a lot of time in a calm environment, which is specifically appointed for the colour, and then the shop obviously is set up in such a way that you can see all the different seasons, and obviously with our expertise in colour and styling, we can guide you to your absolute best choices, so you're maximising how you present yourself.
Okay, so it's, sorry, Sanchi, what did you want to say?
I was going to say that it clearly demonstrates a capsule wardrobe. Once you know where you sit, it clearly demonstrates within the studio how a capsule wardrobe will work for you.
Yeah, I mean, that's really, really interesting. I'm fascinated by the concept of capsule wardrobe. I can assure you, if you open my wardrobe right now, you would not think capsule. It's like when I pack, you know, it's like pack to go away, capsule wardrobe. But what does work is that I always wear the color tones of a winter because I'm cool toned, and I know that I'm absolutely a winter. Everything in your winter range really attracts me so much. What I do know, having had my colors done years and years ago and sticking with a winter palette, is that everything goes with everything else. Not always. It's not always the best combination, but like today, I'm wearing a navy t-shirt, quite fine t-shirt in the sense of it's warm, but it's not very thick. And then I've got navy trousers on, and then over the top, I've got this blue jacket. Everything sort of feels put together. But I could put a pink jacket on. I could put, I could wear purple as my base color, and the pink would go with it, and so on and so forth. So it's kind of mix and match capsule stuff is much easier once you've defined your color palette, because all those colors blend and work together visually. That's the power of them. So that's what's so good about it. So in terms of, so they're the services you offer, which sound brilliant and are brilliant. Do you have to book, or could I just rock up? Could I just literally drive and get to you today, and you'd talk to me? What would happen?
Unfortunately, you can't just rock up because it's such a personal service. It's so bespoke, and we do have to give a 1-to-2 ratio, one stylist to 2 customers. We do need an appointment booked. You can book that via the Kettlewell website. You just go to appointments and then book a shopping slot. What I try to encourage people to do, if there isn't a slot available and you're coming to Somerset for a holiday or just to see friends or something, then we do say email, because we will always go above and beyond to try and fit a slot in for someone traveling, because we realise that Somerset's not the easiest location to get to. So we want to make sure people can come if they are going to the area.
Okay, so you definitely need to book beforehand. Don't just rock up. But having booked, then you're guaranteed that you're going to get your full attention, and you're also going to get that personal service, because that's the point, isn't it? That you have a personalized approach, a personal service, and you've got changing rooms, you've got places for people to relax, and you even give them, a cup of coffee, don't you? And even potentially a bit of cake, or something else. Anyway, it's really nice. And so remember that you book, but it's on the Kettlewell website and it's very easy to do. So let's start with this whole concept of color analysis. And I think it's a very, very important thing to get clear right from the word go. And anybody watching this who is dubious about it, I think this is an opportunity for both of you, hopefully, to really explain what color analysis is and how you will go about deciding and helping somebody to decide what color they are.
Shall I take it?
Absolutely, Jane's passion.
Well, it is, and it's a privilege to help people get to that point where they understand. I think understanding it really helps the way forward to going forward with your shopping, not making the mistakes, but also buying into it and owning it and, wearing it. So when we talk about colour, it's a spectrum. I've got a little diagram here, which it's not so important about the words, but when we talk about the colour spectrum, it is a spectrum. We go from we go from the lightest to the darkest, the coolest to the warmest, and we have winter and spring here, which are clear and bright, fully saturated colours, and then autumn and summer, which are soft colours. So different combinations of things to look for. So when we do a colour analysis, we're looking to colour match you, to look at your colouring, and it's done with the face. We're looking to really diagnose your undertones to see, first of all, whether you're warm toned or cool toned. Then we're looking more specifically to see how you are on the light to dark scale, and then obviously whether you're soft, as in muted colours, soft subtle colours, going through to the full saturated colours.
It's Trish.
Yes, so
demonstrates
exactly. So when we put you in the studio, the lighting and everything is set up so that we've got no interference. We literally, when we talk about undertones as well, they are our genetics. So we're born with the colours that we have. And they don't change throughout our lives, but what happens as we get older, our colouring fades a little bit, which is obviously where things like the makeup become really important to echo what we have and just to enhance it. So we're looking to colour match someone, and when we've got that far, we're then looking to put them on the colour spectrum, not just in there's one of 4 seasons, but there are 4 subsections, within that. And once you find that, you can literally say where you sit on the spectrum and begin to understand it and identify what those colours are about. So, for example, if we did a colour analysis in someone and they come out as a light spring, they will have we have a swatch book that will show them all their best colours. But where you sit on the spectrum will mean what other areas you can go to and what things you really can't do.
And I think that's the difference with the Kettlewell colour analysis system. It's because we have all of the clothes and colours at hand, we can demonstrate the sister relationships really well, because the last stage will be going between the 2 palettes that most suit you, and we can demonstrate why one suits you so much better, but also show you that, you know, these other colours, if you really wanted to, you could dip into.
I think that's absolutely fascinating. I mean, the whole subject absolutely fascinates me. No question about it. When I started Look Fabulous Forever, I knew that we would have to describe things like lipstick colours online. And how hard is that? You know, it's bad enough going to a counter and trying to find a lipstick that suits you without, you know, going on to an online where you've got it mediated by whatever colour is on your computer, basically. And the key for me was this undertone, cool, warm, because once you've established that, and I love what you just said there, Jane, it's so important, it doesn't change, it's genetic, you're born with it, you're born with this undertone in your skin, which is either warm or cool. And it's very hard for some people to tell. It's also possible to be neutral, which is terribly complicating. But if you do know that the undertone of your skin is cool, which is blue, or warm, which is yellow, then what you can do thereafter is always get it right. So your lipstick, you will never buy the wrong lipstick again, you know, as you will never buy the wrong scarf or anything like that. And it's been the most wonderful guiding principle throughout my life. So I love the fact that you've underlined, because we do get this question a lot. People say, oh, I had my colours done back in the 80s and I was X. I've just had them done again and I'm now Y. And it's like, no, you're not. You were either misdiagnosed back in the 80s or you were misdiagnosed recently. The point is, it doesn't change. And love what you said there, because I think some people will look at the colors I wear. So I wear really bright, quite strong, punchy. I like good, strong, punchy colors and lipsticks. They look at me and they say, but I look dreadful in those kind of things. They're far too strong on me. They're far too powerful. They would overwhelm me. Yes, they would. And they would overwhelm you, because what you need to consider is something softer, more muted, more subtle. It could, you know, it's because that is from me. And there are quite a lot of other people who love the punchy colors that I wear, and they will suit them too. So that analysis aspect, Jane, I really love what you said there, because it's terribly, terribly important to understand that you take an individual and you say, this is about you and what's going to work for you as an individual. And that's not going to be true for everybody. It's going to be true for you. Get it right. So I think that's brilliant. That sort of covers off my next question, which was, how do you approach that for an individual customer? So I think you've answered that really, really well. What I'd like to do now is to get into colour seasonal palettes. You mentioned about the little swatch things you've got. I bought one of these when I was at yours. Now, I mean, I should have had one of these for years, and I haven't. But you know, and they're very much, you know, what we used to have. But I love this. I love it because, especially with green, I find green very difficult. I very rarely wear green, because green for winter doesn't feel right. It feels like it's too yellow. But there is a green for me. There's a green for everyone. There's a red for everyone. There's, you know, you just have to get the right one. So could you talk us through, literally starting with whichever one you want to start with, and describe as briefly as you can or want each of the seasonal palettes and the kind of colours that they incorporate?
Well, I'll start with summer, since I'm a summer, and I'm a true summer, which means I sit right in the middle of the summer season. So I don't tend to have a relationship with any of the other seasons, apart from maybe going towards the cool part of winter, which is where the winter meets the summer. So summer is obviously, it's cool, it's soft, and it's lighter, but it goes from light to middle. So it's not just light, it's going up to the middle part of the colour between light and dark. So the colours I tend to wear are blues and pinks and plums, and they're never fully saturated with colour. They're usually the softer end. So they've got a little bit of grey in them to make them gentler and just a little bit more smoky and gentle. And I tend to do that with my makeup as well, although today I've got a slightly brighter lipstick for me, but it's still within my colour palette. And so it's the punchier end for me. So when I want to look intense, this is how I'll do it. Of course, if I had Tricia's colour, it would be too much and it wouldn't harmonise with me. But so that's basically summer. And then if you want to talk about winter.
So I'm winter, the same as Trish, but as you can see, we're quite different winters. You can hold the brighter, clearer colours better than I can. I'm more of a deep winter, so I have to have real depth and drama still in my colours, because winter is still a dramatic palette for its high contrasting. But it's just the stronger version of summer, really, still very cool toned.
And summer can wear a lot of the, sorry, winters can wear quite a lot of summer colours if they wear them with their winter colours, because they're cool based.
Yes, I mean, during the summertime, when I'm wearing summer clothes, I would wear like an icy pink t-shirt or blouse, or that lovely cool blue, the blue that you're wearing, Jane, in your blouse. I would wear that in the summertime, but it's interesting how in the wintertime I would tend not to wear those colours. I would wear, for instance, with a sweater with a jumper, I'd wear a deep purple, say, something like that, but always brighten it up. Then I will often brighten that up with earrings, or I'll brighten it up. So having this scarf looks amazing. I've got a purple jumper, it looks absolutely amazing with that. So all of that is important, because I think quite a lot of people who are Look Fabulous Forever customers, and I'm sure Kettlewell customers as well, they look at somebody like me wearing a really punchy lipstick. So if I'm wearing cherry red or something like that, and they think, I don't want to wear a lipstick like that. God, I look awful in a lipstick like that. And I say, okay, it's fine. You don't have to wear a lipstick like this. If you feel it overpowers your face and it's too strong for you, it's because you are that different end of that color palette. And we respect that. We understand and acknowledge it, and have colours in our range to suit you as a result. There was something else that I wanted to pick up on, and I can't remember what it was. It's gone out of my head, but it'll come back. Oh, yeah, no, it was, I've got two daughters, and one is blonde and the other one's got red hair. They've both got warm-toned skin. Undertone of their skin is warm. One is spring and the other is autumn, and they're the most brilliant example of how spring is soft and subtle and autumn is powerful. So they can wear similar colors. They often do wear similar colors, but they look better when they're wearing the softer, that's the blonde, or the stronger, that's the redhead, versions of those lovely autumn colors, corals and rusts, and they look good in brown. They look good in colors that I look terrible in, absolutely terrible in. When poor old Anna, my oldest child, I say my oldest child already, she won't mind me telling you this, she's about to turn 50. How did I have a child of 50? It's like child. Anyway, when she was a baby, I dressed her in purples and pinks. That was so bad. We've got some terrible photographs of her, poor little sausage. But then gradually she learned the colours that suited her best, and she now looks terrific always with her lovely red hair. Okay, so I think we've covered off the next one that I was going to talk about differentiation. So I said, the question was, besides seasonal palette, how else do you differentiate? Do you take on information about hair colour, eye colour? Tell us a little bit about that, because there can be some confusions with that, but I'm sure people watching and listening to this would like to know about that.
Okay, so when we do the colour analysis, all of those things are really important: your hair colour, your eye colour, and your undertones. So sometimes there can be a few outliers which throw out the reading, which is why it's so important to take the time to really look and cross-check when we put the drapes on. So Yes,
We,
it can
we
take up.
cover the hair really. If somebody's had their hair dyed, then we do cover the hair because it's important to focus on the skin, the tonal direction instead of the hair colouring, because you're quite right. If they have warm hair and they're cool toned, then they can carry those warmer colours better than they would be able to. So we want to remove that. We want to remove the risk of misdiagnosing basically. So and have everything just
Yes, and also all hair colours do tend to go quite warm over time, just due to the nature of the dye. So it's important. We give information on how to tone it down if you're cool and keep it cool toned. Different seasons, obviously there are different hair advice for, absolutely. So once we've got to the bottom of their undertones and their colouring, the hair's a natural conversation that comes in. And likewise with makeup and jewellery as well, because obviously jewellery, silver and platinum are cool metals, and golds are warm. There are some people, if they sit on the boundary, when we talk about the neutrality, it's when you're sitting in the part of, if you're, let's say, a bright spring, you sit next to bright winter, so you're in the neutral part. It's where they're meeting on the spectrum, and you can do both metals. So all those things are touched upon, and actually they all make sense at the end of it. It's all this sort of puzzle that sort of sorts itself out. So
yeah, the proof of it is when you're helping somebody with the clothes, they put them on and they go, oh wow, is that there is definitely a wow factor when somebody puts on the right clothes, for sure, which is really nice.
Going through the entire process with them, seeing them come in last, sit in the chair, give them their best colours, and then see them put a full outfit on and walk out with a capsule wardrobe. It's very rewarding because you see how content they are, and they know that they've got it, they can do it.
And we're able to demonstrate that what we've pinpointed, how we can put it in that capsule wardrobe. We'll talk through the light neutrals, the dark neutrals, which hold the colour together, and then the colours in between, their best blue. And then we can demonstrate it on them in the clothes, but also with their personality and their styling personality, and their body architecture. So it's the whole package all in one go, which is it's rewarding for us. It's great when we give feedback to the designers as well, and how everything's received. It's a really joyful and fulfilling area to be working in.
I love that word joyful, because that's the word that I felt a lot when I was with you down in Chard, that space. It's a joyful space. It's a lovely process to go through. And if you are a bit lost, and I do think that with aging, you can become very lost. You can become very lost about yourself, your confidence, your clothes, your whole kind of presentation to the outside world. And we live in what I still consider to be quite an ageist society. We don't expect older women to stand out in a crowd. But one of the things that I would just mention, when I was down there at the end of July, we had an event on the Saturday afternoon, which was for your colour analysts and all the people that work with your products and help people to look their best. And that is another route, by the way, isn't it? I presume that's on your website, the list of people who might be in somebody's area that they can contact that work with you. But what was noticeable with the audience was, as people were coming in, I think we started about 2:30 and people started arriving about 2:00 to have a cup of coffee and chat. And oh my goodness, what an amazingly vibrant group of women. I mean, terrifically well dressed, and they just all looked wonderful, really, really wonderful, and a great testament to you, to what you do, to the quality of the advice that you give. It was like being, I've said it before, it's like being a sweet shop, but then a sweet shop just full of people who just know how to look terrific. We're called Look Fabulous Forever, and that's really what summed up these people. It was just so lovely to be around them all, and they did look terrific. Tell us a little bit about anything that you've got coming up in the autumn time. We're going into a new time of year. The weather's changing, the light's changing. What have you got coming up?
Well, we've literally just yesterday launched our new collection.
Mm-hmm.
We have first wool coats have just come out, which are fabulous colours
and simple. Styling wise will work for everyone.
Yeah, I have them. I'm sporting the new boat neck ribbed top in cassis, which is really comfortable and really lovely. What other exciting pieces?
We've got a lovely merino wool cord, which is a jumper and skirt, which can be worn together or separately, but beautifully soft, beautifully simple, elegant. And lots more colours of all our original, original
Yeah.
pieces.
That sounds wonderful. Tell me a little bit more about the coats. So what colours have you got for me in coats?
Carmine red. Carmine red is the winter version of it, yes.
Yeah.
Beautiful
But there
blue.
is a nice blue as well, which we think a lot of winters will
Yes.
yeah, we'll probably want to give a go. I can't remember what the colour blue was called. But yeah, I think you'll probably be attracted to the blue one.
I do love blue, and yeah, that sounds lovely. I shall really look forward to getting the new Kettlewell catalogue come through the door and seeing what's in there. That sounds really exciting. Let's talk a little bit about makeup, just to wrap up. So when you're working with a client, Jane, how much do you give consideration to makeup?
Well, absolutely. Makeup has to come off for the analysis because obviously it covers up the undertones. So for some people that obviously can be quite distressing. And I'd say if you want to come to the studio in your makeup, do, and then we take it off. So at the end of the analysis, when we're talking about makeup, some people, have never gone near makeup or wear very little. We do encourage people to put a little bit of lipstick on for the final photo where we've got the drapes, because obviously in a photo, everything tends to disappear a little bit. So that's the first step. And I'll pick out a colour in the lipstick that really is right in their subsection. So if we think of 4 seasons, there are 16 subsections. So I'll try and match the lipstick. And then they can see it with all their best colours. And going beyond that, obviously, with the makeup, of course, if you're cool toned, you're going to go more towards the cool toned makeup, foundation and eye colours, etc. You're going to want to match what's going on in your undertones.
And it's also a really good time for people that don't wear makeup very much, giving them that lipstick at the end. They're right, it's a confidence boost because they know that lipstick is the lipstick for them. So it's a really good time to introduce people to them as well. Yeah,
really. And you hold all our lipsticks there, don't you? You've got all of them in your cupboard, which is fantastic. So we really like the idea that you're doing that, not least because you're perhaps selling them a lipstick on our behalf, but because it underlines the fact that we do work kind of symbiotically almost with you. You're the clothes side of it and we're the makeup side of it. And I would say to anyone watching this who doesn't wear very much makeup and doesn't want to wear very much makeup, that's absolutely fine. However, a tiny touch of lipstick, my goodness me, it makes all the difference. It really does. And I think it lifts the face. I think it brings the face to life, but it also will bring your whole look to life because that's the overall look that you're creating, a much more sophisticated look. I think as soon as you put a lipstick on, you look more sophisticated, you look more confident, people treat you differently and better. And of course, if it's working really well with the colors, then what's not to like? It's going to be absolutely brilliant. So ladies, thank you very much indeed. Let's just go to Amelia. Have we got any questions there that anybody wants answered?
We haven't got any questions.
Okay, no problem. But thank you, ladies, for coming along to watch and listen. And we've really enjoyed, I've certainly enjoyed talking today to Jane and Sancha. Do encourage you to book in if you can possibly get down to Chard in Somerset or find a local stylist, because I can assure you it's well worth every penny and also every second that you spend. So once you get it right, you're good for life. You don't have to do it again, and you will never make a mistake when you buy any item of clothing, nor when you buy any item of makeup either. We've also got stuff on our website which can help you in terms of analysis and lots and lots of support from Julie in customer services, who can advise you. And if you're not sure about colours for your face, can also advise you on that. So thank you very much indeed. Thank you, Sancha. Thank you, Jane. And bye-bye, everybody. Bye-bye.